Well, hello everyone and welcome to Barefoot Minis, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about our 1930s dairy barn and some of the updates that we've done recently. So without further ado, here's the lights. Since we moved out here 19 years ago, we have done some updates to the barn, and many updates need to be done. This man door over here, it needs to be replaced. It smacks in the wind, probably drives the neighbors crazy. We updated this sliding door with the clear stuff. I would not recommend the clear corrugated stuff at all. It gets dry and brittle and cracks and breaks, and any type of bumps, it shatters. I love you updated the electrical to the barn here. And of course, we recently put 2,500 corncob LEDs and 4,000 lumen corncob LEDs in. Some of these stalls were existing. Of course, it used to be a dairy barn, and now it's for registered American miniature horses and Lavender Orpington chickens, some stars as well. And so this was an existing hardwood box stall. They did have horses, goats, chickens, sheep, etc. in this barn. But for a nearly 100-year-old barn, it's just been amazing. It's the openings are north and south, which in the summertime is glorious because there's always an amazing cross breeze. Why miniature horses? Well, I had large horses, but if you met my minis, you wouldn't ask why. They're just that amazing. So I love my minis, and I've had all sorts of breeds, and I've been involved in all sorts of breeds, and I just keep coming back to minis because they're just amazing. I'm looking forward to driving them soon. My first miniature horse was a driving horse. But anyway, in the wintertime it's rather cold. It's not a fun barn in the wintertime. But it's more updates that we have to do, is all. We have to put more battens on the boards. We have to update the aisle. And also when we moved here, most of these support beams were offset. So we took a sledge. My husband took a sledge and got the supports back in the correct positions. Here are the new lights that were put into the stalls to illuminate them. And I can clean things up in here with a leaf blower because we have a lot of cobwebs and stuff, but not too bad because, like I said, in the spring and summer months, I have both barn doors open, and the cross breeze just wipes out a lot of the cobwebs and the dirt, and it's wonderful. It's never too hot or buggy in the barn in the summertime. This is the center stall is my broodmare stall. Most of these stalls can be split in half though, and the aisle can also have, since it's a 12-foot aisle, can have the 12-foot tube gates along it to create more stalls. A lot of the stalls were built in the past 10 years. We took apart a building on our property, and we used the studs and the plywood to build out these miniature horse stalls. When we moved in here, there were greenhouse foundations of gravel, and we moved by hand manually quite a few tons of pea gravel into the stalls to build them up because they were all broken down dairy stanchion areas with broken down. Anyway, the stalls were all broken up. We also built a chicken coop, and then it was first a guinea coop, and then was expanded into becoming a chicken coop. See, these stalls we added 2 gates too, so we can split them in half and make them 2 stalls because they're large enough for large horses. They're not tall enough for large horses though. This is our chicken coop we built on. It's not completely level anymore. A lot of the barn has kind of fallen at the south end. It's kind of sunk a little bit, but pretty good still for a nearly 100-year-old barn. And the barn had some treasures, but a lot of trash in it, and we've been cleaning ever since we moved out here. But one of the treasures was some nest boxes, and some of the next nest boxes made it to friends and family, and we're able to bless them. So that was great. But as you can see, it's nowhere near tight here in Joey's stall. Joey's giant stall could be about 3 miniature horse stalls. There's some wind blowing some snow in here, and we didn't put the tie vac up, but somebody before us put the tie vac in the metal where the battens should be, to to kind of try to keep it a little bit more warm for the animals in the wintertime. So we got a lot of updates to do. When we do update this floor, I would like to make it a good textured floor, because the nice thing about this floor being broken up as it is the horses wear their feet down and they don't slip as easily when it's all broken up and textured as it is. It's good for me because I trim my own horses' hooves, and this way they're able to wear them down so I don't have to trim as often. So, I mean, there's things that are kind of a redneck innovation, like the people before us used screen doors for windows. We've had to replace a lot of these windows from bad blizzards blowing out the windows. We've used plexiglass on the windows so that when they do get old, brittle, and shatter, they're not going to cut anybody or injure any horses, so injure any eyes or anything. So we really love our barn. We just keep continuing to repair it here and there, and it's I guess one downside is that because it isn't real airtight, and we have a lot of birds, and the birds bring in issues. The birds bring in buggies. The Eurasian sparrows bring in a lot of and this is kind of a controversial topic, but I do believe they bring in lice. So their dirty birds poop all over. That's the decorative streaks on here is from dirty birds coming in here. And in the springtime, the blackbirds come in and take over and have their babies. Hi, Amelie. She's such a sweetheart. But take a look at these lights that my husband put in. It's so nice because it's so depressing out here in the winter. It was so dark to get chores done. Of course, you don't want to leave the lights on too late. You're going to bring your mares in this season. You don't want to do that. But keeping it cool, though, and a little bit more natural is kind of good for them. And for the most part, they don't need blankets. I just only have the blanket on Joe. He's going to be 28 in April, and I think at his age he can use a little bit of help staying warm. So he's in a blanket. He's in the largest dog blanket they sell, because he really is a tiny boy. He's 29 inches, a little guy. He's a good old boy. The stallions are so nice in the wintertime. I couldn't think of the name for in the dairy barn where they have, I mean, there's evidence of stanchions still. But I know I'm talking a lot about this, but this is really exciting to me to have these beautiful horses all lit up. We've had miniature horses for 28 years, all A size but one, and I produced that big boy, but he has such a wonderful home, perfect home, and that's just amazing. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed my ramblings about our 1930s former dairy barn. Jesus loves you.